Hey y'all, Steel here. Welcome back to the video. It's about time I posted a deck profile. It's not going to be heroes this time actually. It's going to be a deck I've been playing a lot for the past year or so. This is also a deck I play a lot of remote duels because it's the only deck I really have, I guess you could say. But and I'm a huge fan of this deck. I picked it up around like the summer of 2020. Yeah, that's a good approximate. Yeah, I picked it up around the summer of 2020, so it's been about a year from me playing this deck. Um, I think it's pretty fun. I like it a lot. Uh, and the deck is Sky Strikers. The deck list I have is a pretty standard list with some cards that I play that might seem weird. But besides those cards, it's a pretty much standard list. So let's get right into it. So first off, we have obviously 3 copies of Ray. It's Ray. Why wouldn't you play? You have to play this at 3. It's like basically essentially lets you start all your combos by just normal summoning Ray and linking off into a Sky Striker Link monster. It also has that neat effect where Sky Striker Ace monster, the Link, it just leaves the field in any way. You can just revive this, and then you can just tribute off as a quick effect, and then summon another Sky Striker Link. So it's really nice for recursion as well. It's an overall really just strong card too. So yeah. And then we have 2 copies of Rose. Don't play more than 2. Don't play 1 either. This card is perfect at 2 just because it just lets you get at 2 two's the perfect amount because if you summon a Sky Striker monster, you can special it from your hand to get an extra body on board for either a Unicorn into an Access Code or just like into a Zeke. This card's really good. It's a free extender on summon. And it's also an extra name for the deck, so you can just normal summon it if you don't draw a Ray. And then you can just go into a Link monster. Its second effect isn't as good. If it monster and the opponent's extra monster leaves the field, there's this short battle, you can summon it and then negate a part of the field. The nice thing is that the negation isn't targeting, so you can actually hit a Dragoon with this, which is also nice, but it doesn't really come up that often. But when it does go off, you pretty much won the game though. It's a very good effect to pull off. Then we have the hand trap lineup, for the monsters at least. Pretty standard lineup of hand traps. We have 3 copies of Ash, obviously. Best hand trap of the game right now. Or just like a really good hand trap overall. You need to play 3 of these. There's like no question. Then you have the 3 copies of Lancia. I main deck Lancia because, what's it called? Dinos are a really prominent deck right now, and so are Dragon Link. So this card can be really good blowout against those decks. And yes, I know I have 2 commons and a secret. I'm getting my secrets soon. I just don't know where they are. Yeah, this card's definitely worth main decking. I'd say main deck this. It's a very good card to main deck right now. People aren't really ready for a main deck Lancia, so there's also that too. Then you have 2 copies of Nibiru. Only 2. I have a 3rd one on the side deck. That's the only reason. It's good, I guess. It stops like really big combos from going off. It's a nice deck. It kills Prankrits. It basically kills Prankids, which is also pretty neat. They have 2 copies of Veiler just for Selene and the Hulk combo. Essentially it. Then we have 3 copies of Widow Anchor, obviously. Negation lets you just yoink a monster. It's a mind control that's also a negation. What more could you ask? Very fucking good. You have to play 3. Then you have 3 copies of Shard Cannon. I've seen people play 2 of this. I don't think that's correct because this card hits so many different cards. It lets you hit a Dark or Light out of the opponent's graveyard if you're playing against Dragon Link, so they can't actually go into Wyvern Burster or a Collapse Serpent. It doesn't come out often, but it does come up there too. Also, lets you hit out the Misk from the graveyard, which is very good against Dinos. Then there's also the matchup against Eldritch. You hit Lord. What the fuck are they gonna do, right? It's a really, really fucking good card. It also lets you once reborn from your opponent's graveyard, so then you can go into link plays. It's a very good card. People playing it at 2 or I don't know what they're thinking. Definitely played at 3 in my opinion. Then we have 2 copies of Afterrunners, standard. I know I also have an ultra rare and the secret rare. I'm getting my secret rare again. But yeah, this card's also pretty good. If you're able to negate opponent's monsters, then you just like pop it. You know, it also pops back row, which is neat, I guess. But you're mainly playing it for the first effect, which pops a monster. It's also kind of out of mine, hilariously enough. Like you can pop your own monster with Afterrunners, and just like outmine that way. Or you're playing mine in this deck too, so there is that. Then we have the Striker Spell. Then we have more Striker Spell cards. Then we also have two Area Zero, obviously. I was thinking of playing MST just because of how good this card is. If you're able to pop it off with MST, especially on Ray from deck, so it's an extra name essentially. But I decided not to, just because you just go pretty neg just to get a body on board. The first effect is really, really good though. If you have this on board with a Ray, then you can actually go Chain Link 1, 0 target Ray. The Ray chains, tribute itself, summon a Striker Link, and this still resolves, which is really, really nice. If you don't know what this thing does, it just like excavates the top 3 cards of your deck and add a Striker card. Pretty decent digging. It's pretty good. Also, it has that second effect where if it just leaves the field by opponent's card effect, or by just any card effect, and it goes to the graveyard, then you can just summon a Ray or Rose from deck. Yeah, decently good spell. Then we have the single copy of multi-roll. Obviously, just lets you recycle your banished spell card. Just recycle your Striker spells, Horn Drones, extra name, standard. Then we have Triple Plot of Desires. This lets you dig through your deck for the going second cards, or your copies of the Striker spells, or just Ray in general. It's a very, very good card. If you're playing evenly matched, this card's even better. I just don't have evenly matched because I haven't been able to get my hands on one yet, or place it yet. But this card's very, very good. You definitely have to max out on this if you're playing Striker. Then you have copies of Mystic Mine. Yes, I main deck this card. This card's fucking absurd. You just draw into this. You bait out all their negations or shit with like Widow Anchors, and afterward you just plop this down. You fucking win. What the fuck are they gonna do? Mystic Mine's broken as hell. This is an honorary Striker card, essentially. This is basically a Striker card. Like, come on. This card's so good in this deck, especially. Then we have the copy of Terraforming, Search the Mind, and the Area Zero. And then 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. Yes, I main these cards. It's pretty good. It hits Eldritch back row and stuff like that. It's also like gets rid of stuff. It's a pretty nice card overall. It's worth main decking, I'd say. Then we got the single copy of Rhoda, Searching Ray, Rose, whatever. And the 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. The only trap card in this deck. Yeah. Then for the extra deck, we have the 30 copies of Hayate, obviously. Lets you build a Striker spell, or just any Striker card, actually. So then the funny thing is that you can normal summon Ray, make Hayate, and send Ray to the graveyard with Hayate's effect. So you actually get the advantage loop going, which is also really nice. This card it's really good in time too. Just summon this, go to battle phase, swing directly 1500, and just win. The funny thing, you can Ash this, funny enough, because it actually does it after damage calc, so Ash can't hit this, which is really hilarious. So this card's pretty good. You kind of have to play 3. You have then 3 copies of Kagari. Really fucking good card. Let's recycle your spells. So basically, the quote-unquote combo of this deck is normal summon Ray, make Hayate, swing for 1500, send a Striker spell, summon a Kagari, bring back that spell you added to hand, you send to graveyard, and yeah, it's essentially Engage, but a lot slower. But it gets the job done. It also lets you recycle certain spells you want to need. Like if you want to go into Link Climbs, then go into Access Code. So yeah, it's a pretty good card. It's a very good card, actually. Third copy of Shizuku, obviously, and Phase Search. The End Phase Search isn't the best, but it's pretty neat. The funny interaction you can do with this card is that you make Shiz, right? And if you have multi-roll on board, then you can search copy Widow Anchor, or Shark Hand, doesn't really matter, whichever. Activate it immediately. If you're going first, then you can just negate your own Shizuku, set it. Or if you're going second and you want to succumb cards in the graveyard, you can activate Shark Hand and banish something and then reset it with Multi-Roll, which is really neat, actually. It's a really, really fun interaction. Its other effect, where like decreases attack, comes up sometimes. It doesn't come up that much, though. It's an overall really good card, though. It just lets you get the advantage you want to go to keep continuously over-grinding your opponent, out-grinding your opponent. Copy of Kaina. It's Kaina. Just gotta play one. You really don't need to play more than one. It's okay. It wins you games in time. The second effect is stop an attack actually does come up more than you think. Especially like if you're about to die, this thing does stop you from dying that turn. Which, hey, I'm not complaining. The deck of this deck, if you can prolong the game further, then you're pretty much in a winning position. My last striker card in the extra deck is Zeke. It's a really good card. It just banishes a monster. It comes back, but like it still banishes something, which is, hey, non-destruction removal. It also has that weird attack gain effect, which it's okay. The only ever time that's ever like really comes up is like if you want to send a monster on your main monster into the graveyard, like let's say you're putting Kaiju or something or some shit like that, then that comes up. The second effect doesn't really come up that often. The first, it's really just for lane climbing essentially, and to get rid of a body on your board, but it's still really good. Then we have the non-striker link monsters, Haka Fibrax. Obviously, you almost want any tuner while you have another monster on board, and they just go to high elk, then summon fucking Effect Failure, go into Selene, then Access Code. It just OTK generator. Really good card. This is the only use that it has in the entire deck, though. So if you don't want to play Hulk, you don't have to. The deck doesn't really need it. It's just a lot better. It just lets you OTK a lot easier, because then because the deck can OTK after 2 high Alt direct swings. So yeah, with Hulk, Access Code, and etc. Then we have Night for Unicorn. If you can't make Selene, then you make this thing. It shuffles a card back, then you just go into Access Code. This is standard way how people make Access Code. It's still a good card on its own too. Then we have a copy of Selene. Obviously, lets you revive the Effect Dealer you summon off Hulk. Also, what you used to make Selene in the first place. Selene revives it, then make Access Code. Overall, a really fucking card. This card's just okay in this deck. But I mean, hey, it gets the job done. Then obviously you have a copy of Access Code. You don't need this to really play Striker. It's just a lot fucking better if you have it. You could play like Boral Sword. You don't necessarily need to have Access Code to play this deck. Yeah, like I said before, it's just a lot easier to OTK. Boral Sword does essentially the same thing as people used before this thing even came out anyways, so yeah. It's still a really good card. Spell speed for removal. Hey, I can't complain. Then we have the side deck. Some cards are missing, so ignore that. First, we have 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. These True Proxies. Mine are coming in the mail. This card's really good right now because of Dragon Link. You stop your opponent's entire board and then you just wipe them out with Striker. You just outgrind them. It's really good. You kind of want to max out on this in the side deck. I was thinking about main decking this just because, but you don't need to. Side deck's fine because you can dig Thrift or Desires and shit like that. So then we have 2 copies of Sky Striker Driving Waves. It pops back row. It's just another back row popper essentially. It's fine. It has that just targeting destruction removal effect for monsters too, which is neat. It's just an okay card. I wish you could hit face-up cards too, but just like it just hits set cards, which is kind of annoying. But it comes up. It forces out certain negates and stuff like that, or certain pops your opponent might have. So hey, it's still pretty good, especially in this trap format. Obviously, Harpy Feather Duster. No need to explain why this is in the side deck. 3 copies of Summon Limit. This card is really good. If you're going first, you just stop all the combo decks. You just win the game from there. Because Striker, you don't really summon a lot. You summon like 4 times ish. So missing on like 2 Striker summons isn't the worst thing in the world, especially since you have a body on board already. So you don't have to waste a body on normal summoning Ray. So, but you can continuously go into Hayate, Kagari, add back. So you can continuously generate that loop over and over again every turn, even with someone limit up. This card is really, really good. It lets you outgrind your opponent insanely quickly, just because it just slows your opponent so much. Yeah, you definitely want to max it on the side deck. Also, obviously, decided it against combo decks only. Custom copy red reboot. It hits backer decks, especially in this trapping format, pretty good. Lets you safely set up striker setups. So yeah. 3 copies of Droll. It's Droll. Really no reason to explain why it's there. Then we have the 3rd copy of Nibiru and the Pankratops. Nibiru, for the combo decks, just let 3rd copy in. And the Pankratops, backer decks, or just any deck that just kind of likes to go first a lot, then you just add this in. That's it for the deck list. So my thoughts on the deck is that I like the deck a lot. Unfortunately, it's not very good right now. Because of Engage Band, it can't really generate the advantage you want it, as like current decks do. But it's still a really fun deck. I would recommend checking it out. I really enjoy playing the deck a lot. It lets you do really funny little fucking combos. And yeah, well, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.